and I ain't one to stay down. I've been broke before. I was chasing gold on a crooked road, didn't see that it was paved in dust. But the good Lord knows, and the wise man says, that a fall don't mean you're crushed. Lost it all in the blink of an eye, burned my wings on the way to the sky. But the sun don't shine on the reckless kind, had to learn how to fall just to rise. Now I'm picking up pieces, stacking them tall, brick by brick till I get it all. Might have lost every dime, but you best believe I'll be back in the green. Had to lose my pride to find my spine, had to break apart just to realign. Storm came hard, but I let it pass. Now I'm standing here with a second chance. Lost it all in the blink of an eye, burned my wings on the way to the sky. But the sun don't shine on the reckless kind, had to learn how to fall just to rise. Now I'm picking up pieces, stacking them tall, brick by brick till I get it all. Might have lost every dime, but you best believe I'll be back in the green.
Welcome back to another episode of the Kohrs Show. And as you can tell, we're in a little bit of a different position here. We are in Toronto, and I'm very, very excited. A little bit later on today, we're going to be able to sit down and have a chit chat with the founder, chairman, and CEO of Rumble. And if you guys haven't noticed it this morning, you might want to bring up your phones and search what ticker symbol RUM is doing early on, because man, oh man, is there quite a bit of green. It's going to be a very, very interesting conversation, because yes, we got the normal earnings numbers yesterday, and of course the company is crushing it, as we've all gotten used to, but there were some specialty announcements that I'm going to be talking about a little bit here this morning. But I'm very, very, very excited to see what's going to be going on and kind of get like really the insider scoop of what's happened with the company, obviously talking to the CEO himself. So big announcements related kind of to the world of crypto, but more so AI. And like I said, I'll be giving you some of the details. But before we get to that, I'm very excited for it. Just so you guys can set up your days appropriately, at 11:30 a.m. ET, the company is going to be doing their official earnings call. I highly suggest that you guys all tune into that. And then later on in the afternoon, around 1 p.m. Eastern, that's when I'm going to have the opportunity to sit down with Chris. I will later on tweet something out. So whatever's on your mind, your questions, what you guys want to talk about, what you don't want to talk about, you can respond to that Twitter thread. And of course, as we always do, we're going to have a live chat during my sit down talk. And obviously, you guys know that he loves chit chatting with you, and I think he's especially excited today. But before we get into all of that, I do want to let you know that the overall situation is still very, very exciting today, because we are this far away of a new all-time high in the S&P 500 on Friday. Not only did we hit a new all-time high, but we closed at the highest closing value ever. And into the weekend, crypto just started to go on a tear. I'll be the first one to admit that I know I talked quite a bit of crap of what was going on with Ethereum and BMNR. But if you happen to fade my call outs on that, massive congrats to you, but I'm not going to complain at all, because Bitcoin is still looking really, really good. So I want to talk about the overall market, couple individual equities, the crypto scene, and then we're going to really be diving into what is happening with Rumble today, because the pre-market session is looking pretty spicy. Stock futures tick higher ahead of key inflation data expected this week. So yes, I want to get into a little bit of seasonality, but more importantly, the major things you should be paying attention to early on this week. And really goes CPI, we're going to get on Tuesday, PPI we're going to get on Thursday. Both of these reports are going to be coming out before the market opens on those days. So for those of of you who are doing the sim defunded kind of like degenerate 50-50 strategy, those are most likely going to be good opportunities. But right now, as we're getting closer, the S&P 500 pretty much break even in futures market. Let me take a look at the NASDAQ, also pretty much break even. Bitcoin's up decently, up trading earlier on, actually when we were all sleeping, or I hope we were all sleeping, it was above 122,000. When I left you guys on Friday, it was at 116.5, currently trading at 119.5. So coming off a little bit of its recent peak, but still overall to Friday looking pretty good. And just because it's the bell of the ball today, Rumble currently up 11.5% in pre-market trading. But earlier today, as I was getting ready for this show, at one point it even eclipsed 20%. So obviously very, very excited about that. So overall situation looking pretty good. We have some things coming out this week. Like I said, PPI is coming out Tuesday. We have, CPI on Tuesday, PPI on Thursday, and then even retail sales on Friday. Keep that all in mind. So overall situation looking very good. Like I said, we're in the new highs, new record territory with respect to both the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ 100. Be on the lookout for that today, but also be a little bit careful about potential profit taking. With respect to individual equities, in terms of today, the exciting news I would argue is Rumble, and I will be getting into the details of that in this chat a little bit closer to market open, but I need to better explain the setup that don't forget, tomorrow Circle is reporting before the market open. Circle is the newest stable coin listed on the public markets, so pay attention to that. And then after the market closes, we're going to be hearing from both CoreWeave and Rigetti, which you're about to find out is going to have a big connection to the story with Rumble. So tomorrow, with respect to earnings, pay attention to all those. Granted, by market cap size, they're a little bit smaller than the big guy, NVIDIA, which is going to actually be reporting after this week. So that's probably the final major one. With respect to AI and NVIDIA and even a little bit of AMD, you might have missed Friday going into this weekend. We had some big semiconductor news. We had some big GPU news right here. NVIDIA and AMD to give US a 15% cut on AI chip sales to China. So we're in this new age where the trade war has taken on this idea of not just in like specific trade deals with individual companies, it's now even getting individualized to individual companies beyond the countries. And if you're looking at NVIDIA and AMD in pre-market trading, at first they were worse off, but right now they are grinding back up to basically break even from Friday's close. NVIDIA and AMD to pay 15% of China chip sale revenue to the US government. This has never ever been done before. And depending on what part of the internet you're on, you might find out that it's a very good idea. You might find out that it's a very bad idea. Since it's never been done, I'm going to take more of the humble route of saying I have no idea how this is going to play out. It might be the government picking winners and picking losers. If you're a shareholder, depending on if you're in the right company, you might absolutely love it. So I'm going to be humble enough to say I have no clue how it's going to play out. But like I said, this is big, big news. In exchange for 15% of revenues from the chip sales, the two chip makers will receive export licenses to sell NVIDIA's H20 and AMD's MI308 chips in China, according to the Financial Times. This is coming right after the CEO of NVIDIA met with President Trump last week, and it was actually the exact same time Tim Cook of Apple met with him, and all of a sudden we see what Apple's doing, consolidating from April to now, official breakout. It's just bringing a lot of manufacturing and really just core business back to the US. It looks like this is taking the exact same route. NVIDIA and AMD to pay 15% on China AI deal sales in the US. There was pretty strong reporting on this on Bloomberg. There's a video right up on their homepage if you want to check in on that. I don't want to spend too much time here because if anything, I'm trying to set up where this could lead to even bigger deals. Right now, NVIDIA is down $1.25 in pre-market trading. It's down 0.67%. AMD is down about 1.6%. So yes, still technically slightly red, but nothing to go cry to mom about. Even though it didn't have earnings, there was an interesting story related to Elon Musk and Tesla that I want to share with all of you. Elon Musk, Tesla launches bid to supply electricity to British households. So this is kind of important because recently we saw Tesla almost broke down from that consolidation wedge. I know some of us were playing it, snapped right back into it because remember the on again, off again bromance. Are they dating? Are they not dating with the president and Elon? Well, the stock is recovering and it's even higher now in pre-market trading because of this news. So for all my Tesla traders or investors, you might want to be paying attention to that. Overall, once again, taking a step back, American companies are buying their own stocks at a record pace. Very interesting article that came out from the Wall Street Journal early this morning. American companies buying their own stocks at a record pace. Historically, this is a pretty strong sign. Think about what that means. These companies and the boards and the people internal of these companies, they know their own numbers. If they're willing to take their own cash to buy their own stock, it is really signaling to the public markets that they believe that they are undervalued. And once again, they are the ones who know exactly their own numbers. So the fact that even though we're at an all-time high, and I know sometimes things can get frothy at those levels, very interesting that we're seeing record level numbers. Buybacks are expected to top 1.1 trillion. Not million, not billion, trillion with the T in 2025, led by big banks and tech firms. So right now, the equities market, I guess, what did I say in the update video yesterday? Looking red hot, this case technically neon green bullish hot, but things are exciting and it doesn't stop in the world of equities. Crypto's been quiet. I'll be the first one to admit it. Over the past 2 weeks, we've seen the larger ones just kind of going sideways, a little exciting news here and there, but nothing too crazy. And then leading into this weekend, maybe it's because of Tom Lee. I already see this in comments. Some of you are pointing out that Tom Lee last week was referring to this upcoming week as the week that we get crazy. And who knows, maybe it was a self-fulfilling prophecy. I don't know. All I could tell you is over the weekend, it was looking really good. As I'm talking with you guys right now, Bitcoin is up at 119.5 thousand. As I alluded to earlier, it closed out at 116.5, so up $3,000 over the weekend. And then Ethereum, I'm looking at the chart right now. This just went bonkers. It exceeded 4,000, technically not the all-time high. The all-time high is closer to 4.8, 4.9, currently trading about 4.2, looking really good. Like I said, this BMNR play, I wish you the best of luck if you're in it. I'm not in it. I'm not long. I'm not short. I have no position. If you put your money in it, I do wish you the best of luck. But I just want to be more so clear that even though the equities market is looking really good, so is the crypto market. And why is it happening? Well, not to be sarcastic, it's just because buyers and sellers are agreeing on a higher and higher price. They're optimistic. A better question is, why are they so optimistic? And I would say it's just some of the recent administrative moves. Trump signs order allowing alternative assets like cryptocurrency and private equity in 401ks. Depending on who you ask, if you look at the retirement accounts within the United States, we're talking about a multi-trillion-dollar behemoth. Now that they have the opportunity from a legal standpoint to directly put their retirements into cryptocurrencies, even if it's a 1 to 2% thing, that's just more of, we already know what the liquidity is. Now you might have these potential aggressive buyers, and I don't say potential anymore because over the weekend we saw what's going on. They're buying and buying and buying. So it's no surprise that we're seeing other crypto-related plays such as Coinbase, such as Robinhood, such as MicroStrategy, all looking really good. So it could be because of that. It might be, it might not be. All I can tell you is some of you know I've been generally swinging those BITX leverage option calls. They are going to look good at market open today. Now, can't show you this, but for everyone in the Discord, for everyone on Locals, sign up. The first month is free. It's pinned to the top of chat. It's in the description of the video. Like I said, first month is absolutely free. mattkohrs.locals.com. Every single Sunday to your email inbox, I break down what's going on in the market. I give you a cheat sheet of all the earnings, of all the major macroeconomic events, and then I even give you the seasonality of each individual day. Unfortunately, August is not the best seasonal month. I'm not here to say it's bullish or bearish. It's kind of nothing. It's not like we can strongly depend on a trend. Some years it's fine, as in the bulls win. Some years it's not so fine, as in the bears win. And other years it's better off to just take this month completely off. So with that being said, it just gives you an idea of the tailwinds and the headwinds and that type of a situation. This particular August, as of right now, and I get we're only about 1 full week into the month of August, is looking uniquely good. So we might be able to buck that kind of neutral, not so special trend, but obviously it's going to be hyper dependent of what's going on with the trade situation. Right now we're to the, I guess, specialization of individual companies getting deals. And I also do want to remind you, first of all, I'm no political expert on this, but we are, according to Call Sheet, the betting markets, there is going to be a meeting potentially this week between Trump, Putin, and Zelensky. That might be a big deal. Right now, they're expecting it to go down in Alaska. In terms of the market impacts, obviously, if you remove global tensions, the market's going to like that because markets hate unknowns. But there is it's kind of a high risk, high reward situation because if the talks blow up and all of a sudden we're not making those steps forward and we're actually regressing, that could be bad for the global markets, especially in the world of energy. And we covered this a lot last week, but the whole oil trade between Russia and India and then Trump jacking up their tariffs. So that could have a large impact. So I clearly have no way to know if the talks are going to happen. Right now, the betting market is saying, yes, they are going to happen. But in terms of my prediction of it, will they go well? Will they not go well? Your guess is as good as mine. So I just want to throw that out there. But coming back to the pure math of the situation, you should know that this week, over the past 3 years, 5 years, and 20 years, is slightly favored by the bulls. Now, today is actually the weakest day of the week, I guess. Today, Monday, August 11th, the Bulls win it. It's 52-48. It's small, but a couple years there, the Bears really won with size. Then for the remainder of the week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, all favored by the Bulls. So just want to share that with you. And now let's get into the specialty thing of this morning. I want to get everyone ready because just yesterday we got the numbers from Rumble. They filed their earnings report with the SEC. You can check it out on their investor website. It's up on Twitter. You could go to the official Rumble website. You could go to the CEO, Chris. I believe he retweeted it. So let me just give you some of the high level numbers as we're about 10 minutes from market open. Rumble reports second quarter of the 2025 results. Revenue is up 12% year over year to $25.1 million. The quarter concluded with Class A shares being added to the Russell 2000 and 3000. That's a big deal because remember, all these mom and pop firms that are mimicking these, such as the S&P 500 or the NASDAQ, well, the Russell 2000 is another one. And if they want to properly mimic it, because that's what they do with their family fund, they're going to have to just buy Rumble. So being added there is great. And then as you're added to more and more popular, more and more liquid indices, that's generally good for the stock. So Rumble officially being added, and that's a very good thing because historically, some of you might remember this, might not. I want to say it was in 2021 where there are certain credentials you have to meet to be able to put in these indices. But beyond that, there's a little bit of politicking going on. And back in 2021, for multiple quarters in a row, Tesla had everything it needed to be in the S&P 500. But because of politics, and I don't mean like actual politics, but maybe it was not put in there for a while. So Rumble had been fighting that for quite a bit. So the fact that they're putting to both the Russell 2 and 3000, that's a big win. And hopefully they just keep getting upgraded and upgraded and upgraded. And then from there, the average revenue per user slightly going up. That's great. 42 cents, a 24% increase. So just those top and bottom line numbers looking good. That's what you want, especially as an investor. But I would argue the main thing was the announcements. And I put this out on my Twitter. Rumble announces intent to acquire AI company Northern Data. Now, if you're like me, you might not know much about the, I guess, AI companies based in Germany, which is where Northern Data is. But when you start to dive into it, you realize how potentially exciting, well, no, it's legit exciting because of the potential of what we have going on here. Folks, I'm telling you, give it a Google, give it a Reddit search. I was even on ChatGPT all morning trying to figure out what is going on here. And I have to say, I'm very, very impressed. And if anything, I'm giddy as a little schoolgirl to find out more of the details in the earnings call. Once again, going down at 11:30 a.m. ET this morning. And then I have the opportunity with all of you to do some follow-up questions at 1 p.m. Eastern. So I just want to give you kind of what I know, what I don't know. The written earnings report is already out. It came out yesterday. It was filed with the SEC. You could check that out. It's all over Twitter. At 11:30, they're going to do their conference call and they're going to be going over their transcript. They're going to have the analysts call in and that type of thing. Good amount of information. And then for anything lingering on your mind, that's exactly what my sit down conversation with Chris, the CEO of Rumble, will be at 1 p.m. today. So that's the schedule. Report's already out, earnings call at 11:30, and then I get to chit chat with them at 1 p.m. all going down today. But I'm telling you, everyone should be, or at least I am. I mean, do what you want with your money. I'm not your mom, but this is one of the most exciting things I've read in a bit. Let me just give you the high level TR so you have like a better understanding of why I'm so excited. Rumble signaled interest in an all stock exchange offer for 100% of Northern Data in a preliminary ratio of about 2.32 shares from Northern Data. So the deal is not done. The highlight here is this is potential interest. It is not a done deal. You need to know that. It has not gone through. But right now, as you're about to find out, Tether, who happens to own, I believe, 54% of Northern Data, they support the deal. So just from that equity ownership, it feels like there's better chances than not that it will go through. But once again, I'm just predicting, hey, we're here in the game of betting, and that's what it seems to be. So Northern Data, like I said, it's a company based in Germany, and what you really need to know about it is that it is arguably two to three major different parts of the company, which Rumble is very interested in, apparently, because they want to buy it. Rumble would integrate Northern Data's data centers and their GPU SaaS business, and 5 owned data center sites with 850 megawatts potential, and then actually adding potentially another one in Georgia. So it looks like they have multiple different actual physical facilities, and they have data centers and then a GPU, basically like kind of a fancy way to say a rental business. Now, the timing of this, in my opinion, is phenomenal, because I don't know if you guys have paid attention to any market news recently, but AI is the thing that everyone's talking about. And in my mind, the first thing that I thought of when I heard this was kind of a saying I always heard from my dad about the old gold mine rush in the US. It's better to be the person selling the shovel than actually doing the mining. And right now in this AI rush, this is what that is. They are basically trying to absorb a business to be the person, not even really in this case selling the shovels, but renting out the shovels to everyone who wants to do the mining. So is it a perfect metaphor? Absolutely not. But I have to say these numbers are pretty big. And you might recall to the start of this show, I was talking about a company who, in my opinion, seems to be somewhat of a competitor, and we're about to get their numbers tomorrow. It goes by the name of CoreWeave. I know many of you in chat have been yelling at me, I gotta get into CoreWeave. And then I have to admit, I have a little bit of FOMO and a little bit of jealousy when I see the amount of money you guys are making off of CoreWeave, because once again, it is a company that is crushing it in the thematic investment of AI right now. Well, guess what? I've always loved Rumble because you guys know that I've been canceled before, and this is the one platform that lets me say what I want to say. So from just a moral perspective, I really, really like it. And I just always thought that would resonate with more people. That was my core investment thesis. But now that it's strongly leaning into the world of, hey, AI, we want to sell these shovels, I like that. And don't forget, we're going to get a lot of updates on Rumble Wallet. So right now, Rumble, protecting free speech and clearly leaning into this larger idea of protecting the free internet. And on top of that, it's leaning into crypto with the crypto wallet, looking for those updates today, and now even more directly into the world of AI. Folks, I really like what I'm seeing. Of course, these are my own thoughts and opinions. I highly recommend you go through the earnings report. Highly recommend you checking it out to comparable businesses. But I'm very, very excited for that earnings call today at 11:30, and then my follow-up conversation with Chris, the CEO, at 1 p.m. today. Like I said, I tweeted some stuff out. It's all over the internet. It's filed with the SEC. You can find all this information, but that is the hot news of why at one point Rumble was up 20% in pre-market trading today. I believe as of right now, it's up, where are we at? It's up around 12%. So exciting to see if, like, when we get into the higher liquidity session, the normal regular trading hours, if this holds, and ideally, fingers crossed, it really, really starts to pop. But let's wait back and see. But this is going to be an exciting one. Now, we have a couple minutes to market open. And I just want to turn over these final minutes to basically all of you. Any final last minute questions, comments, concerns? As I'm waiting for these questions to populate, I do want to remind you, 11:30 today is their official earnings call. If you are a Rumble investor, trader, maybe considering it, I highly recommend you listen to that call. And then, of course, for those of you who have seen these before, the CEO of the company, Chris Pavlovsky, he loves interacting with you guys directly. So that's what our conversation at 1 p.m. is going to be. We're going to kind of cover all the major hot topic news, and then from there we're going to have the opportunity for him to directly really deal with all of you, answer your questions, and see what's on all of your minds. So it's going to be exciting. All right, what do we have? Still under $9. Rome was pretty low last week. Well, that's what happened. Now we're getting that nice percentage pop. This is how it goes. We got this quality news. Like, that's exactly what you want to see. CoreWeave is the blood flow of AI. Well, looks like they have a new competitor directly here in the US. Well, technically I'm in Toronto right now, but Rumble is based out of Florida. All right, can we get a tour of Rumble's Canada Studios bathrooms? I don't think. We'll have to save that one for the OnlyFans a little bit later, but I don't think we're going to rip that one on this stream. Why Toronto versus Longboat Key? Above my pay grade. This is where all the big wig board members are at today, and I was going to jump at the opportunity. This is my first time ever in Toronto, and to see these beautiful new studios that I'm being told they've been working on tirelessly, I'm not going to pass up on that opportunity. Are you adding rum to your long-term portfolio? I already have many thousands of shares of rum, but you guys know I got it back into it in 2021. Will I be adding? Honestly, I'm kind of excited to see how this call goes. Of course, if I ever touch my portfolio, I will let you guys know. So as of right now, I'm very happy with my ownership. Just so you guys know, I don't actively trade it, exclusively invested in it. I don't play calls, I don't play puts, I don't play any forms of options. I just have the shares and I've been sitting on them for years. And if I decide to add, which I have to admit, this is the first time in a while where I'm like, man, like you almost feel that FOMO thing kind of going on. So obviously I'll let you guys know, but I myself will be listening to the call a little bit later on today. Awesome. Well, folks, that's what we have for you with respect to the overall market. We are looking real good. We are in the new all-time high territory, not only for the S&P 500, for the NASDAQ, for Bitcoin, and for Ethereum. On an individual equity basis, we're seeing a lot of excitement continuing in the AI space, and it looks like there is a new wrestler entering the map because Rumble is looking exciting. On a personal note, I just want to know where this is going to go because we are just like the AI theme is just not stopping. So I'm very, very happy to know that a company I've already been involved in is happening to be a new competitor. Should be a fun call. Folks, that is what I have for you. I will be catching you in a couple of hours. As always, respect your risk, don't get over leveraged, and Godspeed. Talk to you next time.